Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Alt Kings podcast. I'm your host, Tate, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with Echelon, and he is the founder and CEO behind TheEgoVerse. How you doing today, Echelon?
Everything's copacetic, man. It feels good to be here. Thank you for having me, and look forward to our conversation today. How you doing?
Doing well, doing well. Very happy to have you. Now, my first question for you, Echelon, is who is Echelon?
Well, my real name's Eric Marcano Jr. The EgoVerse is a company in the state of Florida. My company, my name is on the company. Who I am. I'm 26 years old. I live in Florida. I originated from New York City for about 21 years. I've been a sole entrepreneur ever since I got out of high school, and entrepreneurship really taught me a lot of stuff. Really early age, as I really started getting into more adulthood, like out of teenagership and getting more independent. That's when I kind of started getting into swing trading, getting into the whole Web3 aspect, the whole Web3 mantra and what it stands for and what it's supposed to mean. And that's what really got me appealed to it. So back in 2021, a few months before the EgoVerse started, I had to make a tough decision. And that was, the fork in the road, whether I want to start an in real life business or whether I want to start the EgoVerse. And to be honest with you, I just chose the EgoVerse because it seemed so ambitious and it seemed like it was going to be a challenge, and it has been. So it's kind of to give you like a brief summary of who I am and how
Nice.
the EgoVerse kind of started.
Well, that's incredible. I love to hear that. I mean, whenever I was checking out your Twitter account, the first thing I saw was that pinned tweet, and it was that LLC filing in the state of Florida. And I think for any NFT project, for anybody building in Web3 who is, trying to generate some sort of revenue stream from just, cryptocurrency or anything that they're involving themselves in, they need to have some sort of, LLC established or business established so their own personal assets and liabilities are secure and stored away on their own. And so I think that's a great starting point for yourself. And I mean, myself as well at the Alt Kings, we do have our own LLC. We actually have two, and it's nice to have because it saves myself at the end of the day if anything were to go wrong. Likewise yourself, and so that's great.
Right, and I concur, and I want to congratulate you guys because I mean, even though we're kind of in this whole Web3, trying to move away from traditional financial systems, it's just impossible. Like at the end
Yeah.
of the day, and most of Web3 is still centralized. Most of the blockchains and networks is still centralized, and there is still society rules you got to follow unless you're just living lawless and you're living careless, which I wouldn't suggest anybody because if you're launching a company, because NFT projects or DeFi projects or projects in general, if you got a product, you're a company, right? Like that's just
Yep.
bottom line. You have to view the space in a business perspective. And what I feel like a lot of people don't do is take this stuff serious, which in return can put your investors at risk, can put your team members at risk, can put yourself at risk, and any party that's involved at risk because you're not, taking what you're doing as serious as you should be. So definitely LLC and up. I recommend anybody listening, and I said I salute to you guys as well for doing that because regulation is coming in left and right. Especially I take from your accent, you're from America. I'm from America as well. And, they're not playing with these laws right now.
Not at
So
all.
being ahead of the curve and actually embracing it versus having to restructure your entire ecosystem based off regulation, I feel like it's just a headache. So doing it now and getting our cards right, getting all our documentation right, just makes us more legit, more sound. And then the beautiful thing about that is we protect our personal assets, versus like intermingling it because you're operating as a sole proprietor or entrepreneur running what should be actually a business, and then you get penalized because you don't have it as a business.
Today's episode of the Alt Kings podcast is brought to you by Expector. It's very true. You make very good points. One thing I want to say in regards to LLCs, and if any NFT creators or builders out there tuning in right now, I would check out Doola, and there will be a link below. And you can check it out. It is a great platform where you're able to register your own LLC in whatever state you want in the United States. And they also have LLC DAOs that you're able to form as well. And those are more or less to help you stay somewhat decentralized. Although, in this space, you're not going to ever be completely decentralized, especially if you're in the States. But Doola is one of the most cheapest and affordable ways of generating and creating that LLC to save your own personal assets. That's where we've actually formed one of our LLCs. It's based out of Wyoming, and we have one also based out of Florida. And so I think that if you are interested, you should definitely check that out. But back on topic, TheEgoVerse, an innovative, multifaceted, community-driven company aimed to bridge the gap between Web 2 and Web 3. You mind telling me a little more about this? I know this is your prized possession.
Yeah, of course, man. Back when I was saying when I was getting into the space, I had this whole, real ambitious ideology and perspective about the space. And it evolved into what it is today. But my whole goal was it's like there's billions of people on the planet and there's only millions and there's very low millions of people that's in the Web3. Now, obviously, with regulation, we're starting to slowly see mass adoption, and then we're starting to see, more of the big money, actually ingratiate themselves in the space, which comes with the level of trust. Like, as much as people want to move away from traditional systems, is as much as they're still relying on it and they still utilize it and still quote unquote have this trust, whether it's conscious or subconscious. And once we start seeing institutional these institutional financial systems start coming in, that's when we'll start seeing the heavy influx of users. So my ideology from the get go was, I don't only want to build for Web3. I don't only want to build for Web2. Like I come from Web2. I was swing trading. I was an entrepreneur. I did a little bit of real estate. I had a very small clothing brand. I used to flip electronics, etc. Like I just come from that hustler spirit because I'm from New York City. So anything I could get my hands on is pretty much how I was, making money, like just flipping things in
Nice.
that
Yeah.
way. And
Felt the same way.
right. So how in Web3, I noticed there was a lot of just things that, I was just like, it was very early, still developing, and you always hit that stage is like, we're still early. It is so true. And how I wanted to build the Egoverse was just basically that gap, like tackling multiple industries that you wouldn't think would ever be involved in Web3 and get them involved in the Web3. So, our original plan has then pivoted, and I wouldn't say change. It's just we prioritize it differently because, obviously when we originated the Egoverse to where it's at today, there's a bear market that hit, right? Like we was in the end of the bull market when we launched and, we quickly got introduced to the bear. So it's just a matter of strategizing, strategizing. So the Egoverse all in total, man, is where the goal is to create a digital conglomerate, right? And that means in our future in real life businesses. We have the FPS game that's out right now in the alpha stages that we're scaling up every single day. We're getting ready to launch the Web3 version of Fiverr. We're getting ready to launch a Dex aggregator, right? But everything we're doing is all like it's all in, and I mean, we got phone cases. We have clothing brand now. So like everything we're doing is all in a circulatory ecosystem with our supporters that's already existing. But our focus is to take the people who don't even know what the blockchain is and introduce them to a blockchain economy without knowing that they're introduced to it. So for example, with our game, it's more Web2 focused, it's more Web2 friendly. But now there's blockchain integration there because if you own an NFT on the Web3 side, well, you get to play with that as a character in the game. Now, when you're in the game in the near future, if you buy a character inside of the game, you'll be able to take that into Web3 and utilize in other games or potentially make some money because of the transferable items, right? Like, so it's just our whole goal is really to create, it's to take existing successful models, but introduce innovation and utilize the blockchain to basically bridge that gap and do those kind of things, which is why we're being strategic with what we launch, how we launch it, and what we're doing and how we're doing it. It's just, our whole entire goal is to really bring new people in and really help Web3, better Web3, but also, create an ecosystem where, it isn't reliant solely on, new users coming in, or I mean, not new users coming in, existing people in Web3 to basically be on that. Like, I just, I'm very ambitious. I'm young. I have a team that's ambitious as well, and we just want to reach the highest heights as possible, man. So the Egoverse over time is just going to continuously scale and grow over time, and we're fully chain agnostic. We originated on Avalanche. We made our debut on Solana about a month ago. We will be coming to Hashgraph Hedera this summer with our game, with our Web3 Fiverr. We already sitting down and having meetings with developers. So, we're just really focused on taking it to the next level and being diverse as possible. So, our main saying is one is too close to none, right? So I'll yield there. I hope I answered that question.
Oh, you definitely did. And I think that's a great approach in regards to, finding the best possible ways of, bridging Web 2 to Web 3 and the most nonchalant, the easiest way possible. You want to make this as less sophisticated as humanly possible, because the more sophisticated it is, the less people are interested in it. You really want to be able to bridge that gap, having your own personal Web 2 game that is an FPS game, the first strike. And I'm curious now, is this a console game? Is this a computer game? What is that like?
Yeah, so right now, right, because obviously we're not a $1 billion company. We're not even $1 million company. Like we're independent small business that is growing in a non-traditional space. So you already know all the nuances and all of the unexpected occurrences that happen there, and then finding the reliable people that can do the job based on the budget you have, right? So
Yep.
we're investing out of our pocket. That's why, like, whether our mints go or not, we're able to keep the production going, and we are taking mint funds to invest back into our own company. Like, we're not just taking these funds to go have a steak dinner or go on a vacation. It's nothing like that. Like, we're working towards the long-term goal, which comes with a lot of expenses and a lot of time. So
Yep.
with our game right now in alpha stage, it's supported on Windows, so it's just as if you download a Steam game. you know uh
Gotcha.
that's how we have it set up right now. But in the near future, we are going to be supporting Mac, mobile, Steam. Our long-term vision is console, and pretty much devices as we humanly can. It's just right now it would make more sense for us to save dev time and resources, because these developers ain't cheap, man, especially in a global economy. And I mean, the global economic situation we're in, devs are charging a lot of money. So with us, we said, okay, we're gonna make the bulk of the game this year, 2023, and we're gonna slowly start supporting Mac this year, and Q1 of next year is really when we're gonna hit it on the head. Start going in front of major publishers, potentially get a distribution deal. Another option is to maybe go, to a VC, to an angel investor, but we're making sure we go to a VC or angel investor with leverage, because we already sat down with a VC and they threw a number at us, and it just wasn't impressive, because they wanted a lot and they only gave a little. Now if we go to them, if the bulk of our things built and more strategized, now we have more leverage, and now those numbers will look way different. So that would be another option. And then the independent route is the biggest option we're going for, to be honest with you. Like, we already got this far. We've been around for 17 months. Usually startups, you know, die in like a year. And I'm not saying it to brag that we made it this far, but it goes to show you, like, in a non-traditional space, us overcoming all the hurdles we overcame, it, like, we're here to stay. And I think we proved that by now. And if our game will be the same exact thing with how we scale it, it's just a matter of time, man. And that's one thing about this space is, it's constantly shifting, evolving. It's non-traditional. Trends are always changing, but in all, you just gotta find a way to adapt to the environment, and I think we're really been good at that. And I'm just confident with what we're doing with our game, that by the time we hit Q1 of next year, we're going to be tackling some major milestones, and it'll be a whole nother conversation, a whole nother interview with you guys, hopefully.
Definitely. I mean, I see a very bright future ahead in regards to your vision, and it seems as if you are a true visionary yourself. And I see that you realize what it takes to really build something out in this Web3 space, and just surrounding yourself within cryptocurrency itself, and trying to make your own name within the space. And there's a lot of competition in regards to game development and building out in this space. But all it simply takes is consistency, and at the end of the day, just not giving up. And I guess that, correlates with consistency. But the more focused and the more strategic you can be and the more unique you can be, you'll definitely show and eyes will come to you. And it's a matter of just staying on top of it, even regardless of being in a bear or bull market. Because once the bull comes, we both know that people will come to the right projects, and the right projects are the ones that we're building in the bears. And
I
so I think
I
that's great.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just, I would like to challenge that, just that endpoint, because I agree with everything you say there.
Sure.
My only take on that is yes, if you stick around, and yes, if you just, find a way to stay around, that people may, and I'm not saying they won't, but people may care about it. But on the other side of that too is in the bull market, there's so much stuff going on that
It's true.
you can easily fall to the back burner on people's minds and be the last Discord server on their list. It happens pretty quickly. Even in this bear market, we're seeing that because right now people are just looking for the next best thing that'll
Yep.
make them some money, versus
Yep.
real builders. So I like, my only suggestion, and if you want to call it advice to anybody building right now, I would say, like, don't deter away from your original plans, but really observe, like what you were saying, like look at what's going on in the market, analyze, do your research, look at what projects are doing, look at what's winning in the current trend, and try to adapt your plan with what's currently trending so you can stay relevant. I think
Yeah.
that's really important in this non-traditional market.
Yeah, definitely. I think so as well. And I think, staying relevant is a very key factor in regards to, being getting that exposure you want within those bull markets. And one thing that comes to mind for myself is, networking. Networking is a very vital factor, I
Yes.
believe, for the Web3 space. Because say you're building in the bear, the bull market comes, an influx amount of people come to the space, and they're like, all right, where should I go? They find, some people that they might trust and they might see as reputable people in this space, and those reputable people are going to guide them to the right projects that those people find as, true valuable projects that are constantly building and seeing out their visions. And so I think that, networking is very vital to
Yep.
succeeding in this space, as well as, networking with the right people, because once the bull market comes back to life, it'll eventually come. Who knows when, but it'll come. We definitely will see, the influx of people and the people who are questioning and are curious about the projects that actually matter. And there are always going to be those people that want to make their bags and flip and degen and do their own thing. But there's also going to be those people who support genuine creators and people who are building in this space. One last thing I'd like to say is I really like comparing what's going on in this, just the day and age internet compared to what's going on in, Web3. I think if you can find something that hasn't yet been built out on Web3 yet, that is already been established in Web2 and it works in Web2, and you're able to migrate that into Web3 in some way, shape, or form, that will, in a way, make you more unique than your potential competitor. Just a concept, I think that
Right.
if we're able to, because at the end of the day, not all ideas will always be, a new unique idea. You're either going to be taking it from somebody else and putting your own spin on it, or you'll eventually come across your very own ideas. But off of that, I'm curious, what are some of your goals with the Egoverse?
My goals with the Egoverse is to retire as much people as I can and create as much opportunities as I can. Right? Like, I I want to go as far as changing the world on a serious level, like on a personal level. And I believe the starting point of that is with the Egoverse, even in the most micro ways. So even if that's making people's day feel better, even if that's changing people's mindset, even if that's making people a little bit of money, because I will never promise that, right? Like, I'm
Yeah.
not trying to go to jail, but what I will say
Yeah.
is if you could flip my NFT, you're in a third world country and you can flip one of my NFTs for double, and that pays your rent for the month, and that relieves stress, or it does something for you in the near future, I'm happy at that aspect. But on a macro scale, my goal is to end food shortages, right? My goal is to end homelessness. My goals is to end water shortages. Like that's something I'm really personally passionate about, saving the ocean, saving animals. Like I'm really compassionate about things like that. And when I just want to get to that level. I understand we're in a capitalist society, and you need money to do a lot of these things, and it's just, you got to start somewhere. So my focus right now is to really scale the egoverse into being a conglomerate to the point where it could basically run itself, and I'm in a position where I can now scale. And like right now my focus is to scale horizontally and then vertically, so that means spreading out, to a bunch of different industries. Then now we're scaling it all up and making sure everything works. So it's moving in a horizontal format, then it's scaling up vertically. And I'm going to do the same thing in real life, because I want to start all these things and then have teams that have teams that have teams that have teams, that we're all just chasing the same end goal. So that's what I'm really focused on. Um, and that's just what I want to do. I want to help people. I want to make people better. I want people to strive for better. And I tell my team the same exact thing. Like, I don't only want you guys to chase my dream. I want you guys to chase your dream as well,
Yep.
and I'll help you do the same, just as you helping me. And not all the time it works that way, but if any way I could try to help, I just try to help as much as possible. And yeah, man, that's really my goal with the ego verses, is just to scale it to the point where it just doesn't stop. Like, I don't have plans on stop building no time soon. And I know you probably hear that in the space a lot. I know it sounds cliche. I know people's like, yeah, I want to do all this. I got all these plans. But for me, I'm 26 years old. I just turned 26 in February.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you, man. I don't have kids. I don't have a wife. I don't have no major responsibilities besides paying my bills, right? And other than that, I have nothing but time. Thankfully, because I'm in a blessed position to where I could dedicate my full focus on the egoverse and scale it. And I have real dedicated, loyal team members around me. So
That's what you
um,
need.
yep, that's what you need. Be honest with you, man. You can't. You won't. You need a community and you need a team. That's the
Yeah.
two things right there. Like, that's the key components to success. And over time, like we're just gonna keep building more layers to this onion. I call it. Like, we're gonna just keep going. Like every every month, every year that's gonna pass. Because we've been around for like 17 months now. We're just gonna keep adding on to what we already have.
You're just going to keep on checking off those accomplishments. That's all you're going to keep on doing. And I'm a
Yep.
really big fan of some of those goals that you have set out for the Egoverse. And I think that it's a great thing to want to give back and want to give back to the right sorts of types of people, give back to the planet. Just in the best positive ways of giving back. It seems as if that's your view and that's your objective. I'm curious now to know, do you have any charities in mind you plan on giving back to, or is this going to be something that you kind of just go about and just give back as necessary?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of charities ain't trustable, if we're being
That's
honest with
very
you.
true.
A lot of charities, they take the money and they pocket it and give
Yep.
very, very bare minimal. So, we do have plans, to donate to charities. When we get to that point, obviously, like right now, we're surviving a bear market. It isn't
Yeah.
easy. So
It's
a lot
not.
of our funds are being moved strategically, but um, when the bull market starts hitting around, we definitely are going to look for things to help animals, to help people who's in a less fortunate position, of course. And my plan really with in real life with the ego verse, well, our plan with the ego verse is to do some kind of like self-sustainable ecosystem and create like a self-sustainable farm or a garden, to where we can utilize and leverage that to do food drives for the less fortunate, whether that be on a monthly or quarterly basis. That's a real later plan for us. I would say, if we're looking at it, maybe sometime in the summer next year, maybe a little bit longer. I can't give a definite date because tomorrow's not even promised. But what I will say is,
That's
when we get
true.
to that point, we are going to be doing a lot of, we're going to be really hands on in real life. Right now, it's the digital realm, video games, building digital collectibles, scaling it, building a bunch of different, digital revenue streams, so it can enable us to translate that into real life. transfer that into real life to start making actual tangible changes.
I think that's a great viewpoint, and I think that's a really good way of viewing, just the potential behind what you're doing and figuring out the best way of making this as sustainable as possible and the best ways of giving back while keeping it sustainable and finding those ways to branch out and make multiple sources of revenue is a great start. I'm curious now, so is the first strike, is this a do you have to pay to play this game, or is it a free game?
It's free to play. We
Nice.
didn't want to paywall it. We wanted everybody to get the experience, right? And it goes back to what I
Great.
was saying earlier about Web 2 and Web 3. And I won't go on a tangent here. I just kind of get in the nitty gritty of why we did a free to play is because a lot of games in Web 3 are just building for Web 3. A lot of games in Web 2 are just building for Web 2. But now, if we look at Fortnite, Warzone, PUBG, H1Z1, like these are free to play models, and the amount of success that's achieved through that because people actually can try the product before they even spend any money, I think is a beautiful thing. And if we're wanting to be the bridge between Web 2 and Web 3, why would we create something that already has a paywall to people who aren't familiar with it versus us
Good point.
creating something that people are familiar with, that they can try, that they can have fun, because that's the number one thing that we're aiming to do with our game is the fun factor, like people getting the experience versus just thinking about money. And because once you introduce money to things, like all the fun goes out the window. So with us, we kind of reverse engineered that whole thought, and we've taken a page out of Fortnite's book, but we're doing something that they're not going to be doing, which is utilizing blockchain technology to allow users to get more out of their assets that they own.
I think that's great. What would you is there a game out there currently speaking that you could really you know correlate the game that you're building out currently speaking to? Like, what would be something that you meet up with somebody out in the streets, they ask you what you do for a living, you tell them that you're building out the egoverse and you have your own game, the first strike, and they ask, what type of game is this? What game would you relate that to by chance?
CS:GO.
CS:GO. Nice.
Yep,
I think
because
that's yeah.
it's a very similar gaming economy that we're structuring. Like all of the cosmetic type of items, the type of maps, the logic. Because I used to be a competitive gamer, right? Like I used
Nice.
to play for tournaments for money for years, and I've done this since I was a kid, before I started venturing into other things. But I'm taking a lot of that logic. Our team is taking a lot of their logic. Like we have Life, which is our COO. He's a professional. He was a professional gamer. A lot of our team members, our community, we're taking all of these experiences and injecting it into the game so we can build something that people actually want. Like we're not going to follow the industry's traditional standards of what a battle royale should be or what a FPS game should be. Like we are taking pages out of the book, we are doing research, but we also knowing, like I still play Warzone. There's still bugs and it's still boring, and some of the maps doesn't have a logic to it, to where it's like, okay, we can't do certain things. So we're paying attention. We're paying heavily attention to the stuff that people want. Like, and this is why we're developing a zombie mode, a single player, a battle
Nice.
royale mode. Right now it's only PvP, but like we're touching all different aspects that people like. So it's like, okay, you don't like this, but we have this. Oh, you don't like that, but we have this. Like we're really trying to, well, we're not trying, we're building a game for people. That and the beautiful thing about it is as we grow, and as more people start getting ingratiated into our ecosystem, they grow with us and they're building the game with us versus, you a $1 billion corporation releases a game for $70, you buy it, and it's terrible and you feel like you got gypped out of your money. Well,
That's
with
true.
us, you get to build the game with us because we're actually talking, interacting with you, and listening to your feedback.
Nice. I think that's great. So where does the NFT aspect come into all of this? I know that obviously this is a Web 2 game. Where do you integrate the Web 3 side of things with NFTs? I know you have the Species 5Ks collection,
Right.
and then I also know I believe there's another collection out there as well. Correct?
Yeah. Yes. So To answer the question is basically we 3D model the NFTs. So
Okay.
let's say, species, let's use species for example. It's a 5,000 collection. Obviously, if we try to 3D model 5,000 NFTs, we'll be here for like 5,000 years. But
Yeah. Yeah.
what we're doing is we're 3D modeling 20 because there's 20 alien races in the collection. So we're like,
Gotcha.
okay, we're going to let the community select the 20 aliens that they want from each alien race that will be 3D modeled, imported as a playable character. So let's say you own the Necro Alien. Well, you're going to be able to play as the Necro Alien character inside of the game, and it's exclusive to you and the 249 people based off that collection supply. So that's how that one works. The rest of our NFT collections has a similar format because we originated on Avalanche, so obviously we have utility on that end, and we made our debut on Solana 1 month ago, so there's utility on that end.
How'd that
All
go?
Huh?
How'd that go in Solana?
Oh, we're about 80% minted out right now. It's going
Congratulations.
really, yeah. Thank you, man. It's going really well, and the responses we're getting and what's been happening is really, it's really dope, man. Like I'm glad we didn't mint out day one because we've been live for about 5 weeks now. We've gained so much like genuine relationships, and we're actually like building with our community. Like you imagine we met out day one, all the hype. People are
Yeah.
only there for the 330 Solana that we giving back out of that mint. Then after that, people leave because they don't care. Well, now it's a slow mint, but you get to know the people who actually support you. So now it's more than just a founder talking to an investor. It's more like a friend now. Like we're like that's at the level I'm at with our community. Like we can excuse my French, we could kick the shits. We could go into the voice chat. We could talk to each other about real life things. Like we could go on the game, have fun together. Like I love that aspect there because I don't look at people as like customer number one, customer number two, customer number three. I value social currency. I value people. I value connections and networking. I don't care about the money. That's not what I'm here for. Like if I was given $1 billion today, I'll utilize to help other people than myself. Like I'm happy with the bare minimum because I'm not
Amen to that.
materialistic. Yeah. So to get back to it, that's how the NFTs tie into the game and anything we do. Like we're coming at Hashgraph Hedera, like I've been announcing publicly, so I could say it on this interview. Same thing. We're gonna have 8 playable characters. You own one of the factions of the 8 characters. You'll be able to play with that in the game. So now, how it's free to play. Now this is where the kicker is. So you come into the ecosystem. It's free to play, but you only get to play with one character. Then you don't get no weapon skins. You don't get to play with a custom avatar. So now you're sitting there and you're watching everybody run around with aliens, with hunters, with Yobis, our partners, because we have partners across 5 different networks right now, and their NFTs are playable characters in our game. So you're seeing all this
Nice.
stuff going on, and you're like, wow, that skin is cool. My skin is boring. How do I get that skin now? Oh, I got to get an NFT. That's one way. Or the other way is our in-game shop because we got it set up. And in the near future, how we're gonna have it so how we're gonna have it is just like Fortnite, just like Warzone, just like CS:GO. You literally can go into the shop and either purchase it in Web 2 payments, PayPal, debit card, credit card, MoonPay, etc., or you can purchase it on Web 3 in a network's native token. So this is what we're going to be introducing there. So if you want to stay on the Web 2 side, you can. You don't even have to get involved with the blockchain and still get the exclusive items. But now if you're on the Web 3 side, you have the option to have a transferable item and or you have an option to purchase a rare item inside of our game economy that isn't available on secondary market, but it is available
Wow.
through our in-game shop.
That's awesome. I think that's great. So I'm assuming now, so since you released first on AVAX, then Solana, soon to be Hedera, it's going to be you're going to have multiple wallets integration within the
Yep.
game, correct? Yeah.
100%. Like
Nice.
so we're going to make it as seamless as possible because believe it or not, Fortnite utilizes the blockchain for V-Bucks. They do on the back end. So with us,
Wow.
like we're going to have an in-game wallet to where the user I can't say this because I got to protect RIP, but I could
Of
say this
course.
to
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
You imagine if you had an in-game wallet like, and let's say it was an account that you let's say you load up a species NFT and you're playing with that avatar inside of the game. Let's say you can press a button and print it to whatever network of you choosing. That's how we're gonna have it. It's never gonna have wallet. There's never gonna be wallet connections to our game. We're gonna make
Gotcha.
that. That's all gonna be handled through the back end where the user is never gonna see it.
Nice. That's really smart because it makes it so much more seamless, and there's going to be a lot less conflict and confusion in regards to how to integrate your characters, and really just the accessibility behind it all is going to be a lot more clear, and you're going to really know what to do and how to do it. I think that's really smart. Now, speaking in regards to Hedera, this really sparked my eye, and I thought I heard something about it in the past about you guys soon to be coming to Hedera, but you mind telling me more about your vision, your outlook, and what you plan on doing on Hedera Hashgraphs Network? Let's start first with the collection size, and then we can move forward wherever way you wish.
Yeah, so we're working with NFT Tech. Shout out to NFT Tech.
Shout
We've
out
been
Cantor.
Shout out to Cantor. We've been partnered with him on Avalanche since March because he came from Avalanche,
Yeah,
and
he did.
we knew Cantor for a very long time. And we was one of the first people that was using this product on Avalanche. And he came to Hedera and he's been doing wonderful things. I love it. And we're shopping around. I used to host spaces for like 90 days straight. I was hosting pretty good spaces about just like grilling projects, asking questions, like talking about the market, current trends, spreading wealth through knowledge, connecting, networking. And I hosted like 3 Hedera spaces. And man, the vibes was just unreal. And
Immaculate.
immaculate, exactly. I concur. And we and a lot of those people I kept relationships with throughout the time. It's just at that particular time, we couldn't do nothing on Hashgraph Hedera because we still had obligations to fulfill and we still had promises to keep. And now, this time around, it's a different ball game. Like we already met those milestones. We're ready to scale, and we have a way more bigger team on the development side that enables us to move in multiple different directions. So with the NFTs, it's going to be around 1,666. Won't announce a mint price just yet. I'm not giving away all that alpha. It's going to be a collection of fully one-on-ones by our in-house artists. We are going to 3D model 8 characters, so there's going to be females and there's going to be males. There's going to be 4 females, 4 males. They all going to be playable characters inside of our game. By the time we come to Hedera, we're going to be bringing a diverse community from Ethereum, from Avalanche, from Solana. Like we have a community of, I have around 2,000 holders throughout all my collections,
It's
and
impressive.
and if you look at the secondary markets, like there's barely any listed. And I bring that up not to brag at all, because that's not what I do. I bring it up to show the value of a diverse community that we're bringing to Hedera. Like I've already been onboarding people to Hedera. I already have people who have Hedera NFTs and asking me constantly, like, "Yo, what project should I start with?" Or let me set up this wallet. We actually partnered up with HeliSwap and hosted a tournament with EgoVerse the First Strike, where our users won Hedera tokens and HeliSwap tokens. So they had to set up a wallet. So we already been onboarding people. So one value we're bringing is new users to it. The second, we're bringing fresh art, right? That's another thing. With utility, we're going to be giving back to the community. Three, we're going to be bringing a game, a built game, right? There's
Yeah.
something that's out right now, something that people are going to be able to play. That's going to be way more advanced by the time we launch. And then four, we're bringing Works, which is the Web3 Fiverr, eBay, and Etsy. So we're bringing a service marketplace. So we're coming to Hedera, bat swinging, utility throughout the roof, and we're coming there to bring value. And this summer we're gonna hit it real hard. So that's what's happening. And we're already partnered up with H Barbarian Inc. Shout out to them. They have a playable character in our game. They have a store. They have a revenue stream in our store, in our in-game shop. We are partnered up with another Hedera project that we haven't announced yet. So we already are moving very strong behind the scenes. So when we come out publicly, it's going to be a lot of nukes being launched. And we are going to approach the blockchain for a grant, because the in game wallet that we're building, it has to have a network that supports the transactions, right? So
Yeah.
so Hedera, if they want to white label this in game wallet, and keep in mind, no no gaming project is doing what this in-game wallet how we want to do it. So Hashgraph Hedera, if they give us a grant for this, they can have the bragging rights to it. Literally trademark it or whatever they have to do legally to be able to say like, yeah, you want this, you got to come to us, and we're gonna approach them and say, hey, you want to do it? Let's do it. We're gonna give them that opportunity. So we're coming real heavy to Hedera, and it's coming real soon. And we are going to be launching with NFT or tech. So, right now I'm just building those connections behind the scene, and I'm connecting with people like you, right? Like I'm
Yeah.
connecting with other builders in the space. I'm getting to know the community. Like I'm not just coming over there to extract liquidity or to just launch a collection and move on to the next chain. No, we're coming over there just how we came to Solana, with value, with a community, with utility, and with growing utility and growing value.
I'm excited. I'll tell you that I am excited for all of this to, just truly evolve into your true vision out there. And I think there's a lot of big things up and coming, and it seems as if you're already making the right steps in regards to partnerships, connections, relationships. I'm curious if you've heard of Hashport by chance.
Of course, I heard
Yeah,
of Hashport.
Hashport. Yeah, they're definitely great in regards to bridging other currencies with Hedera and Hedera's tokens. So I definitely was going to recommend Hashport, but you already know about them, so that's great. What interests me now, and it's one of the last things kind of on my list of things to talk about, was works. Works on demand. You said this is going to be like a Web3 Fiverr. Let's dive into this a little bit. Tell me more about your vision behind works.
Okay, well, I've personally used Fiverr in the past,
Me
and
too.
I'm gonna be totally honest with you. We're coming for their necks. They
Oh,
take 20% from creators,
yeah, they
and then
do.
they take like 5.5% from the buyers. That is crazy. And then
Yeah,
their reasoning behind that is that it's for maintenance. No, it's for your pockets, bro, because your
yeah,
website did not even update or upgrade for the last couple of years. You guys are just rolling in cash. And with us, not only we are going to be having a flat, way lower fee, but we're going to be introducing the blockchain. So we're going to have the Web2 side of it, we're going to have the Web3 side of it. So now that's a whole new onboarding mechanism right there. Web2
truly.
users get to meet Web3 people. Web3 people get to meet Web2 people all through our platform. And the beautiful thing about our game, about about works, about a lot of stuff we're doing is that it's hybrid. So now we don't only have to cater to the Web3 market in terms of marketing. We can market this in Web2 as well and really like be a shark on both those waters. So it works. Um, Basically, we're going to be giving our holders utility. So if you own any of our collections, up to 4 NFTs, you'll get 2% back on rebate if you use our platform. We have a lot of other utilities that you're going to be doing as well. It's all built on the back end through an escrow. We're going to be supporting. Let me go check out all of these networks. One second. I'm going to give you all the networks right now that we're going to be supporting
That's
with Works.
incredible. So I'm assuming you'll be supporting many networks as well as credit card, debit card, and fiat payments as well, which will be great. I'm
Yep.
curious while you're looking for these. I'm curious your approach in regards to you know transferring people from their already established accounts on Fiverr to a new platform like Works. I know that lower fees will be definitely a big eye opener to a lot of people who are already trying to sell and provide work to other people. I think that I'm curious. Well, simply, I'm just curious about your approach to taking over Fiverr.
Right there. Fees. That's number one. More money
Yeah,
people make, the more happy they are. But
that's
this
true.
the service, right? Like the thing is we're basically we're basically building a trustless way of doing this, but also like Fiverr doesn't have the Web3 aspect of it, right? So they're missing out on a market. Well, we're
Yeah,
catering to both markets right there. So now a Fiverr, someone who built up their profile on Fiverr, now they get to make more money, right? That's number one, which that makes everybody happy when they making more money. Let's just be honest.
yeah,
Number two, they're going to be able to have a wider audience because now, like, yeah, Web3 people, they go to Web2 Fiverr stuff, but it's not really focused for Web3 really. And there's a lot of different scammers and there's a lot of different stuff going on. Well, with us, we have a different vetting process that we're going to be doing on the Web2 side, being totally transparent with you. And on the Web3 side of it, we're already familiar with it. They back with vetted people. And, we're going to have an ongoing Discord. Fiverr doesn't have that. They have like, they'll email you back or they can answer a couple questions through the automated system. With us, we're going to have a Discord server. So now you get to come have a conversation. Now you get to, come weigh things out. There's going to be a learning educational aspect to it. There's going to be another benefit to it to where if you get it, if you buy one of our NFTs, you get an additional benefit from you being a creator on the platform. So now there's a chance for you to make more money. So it's a few different ways that we're going to be doing what Fiverr doesn't have. But the biggest thing right there speaks for itself is the lower fees. Like
Yeah.
you imagine if you're in a third world country, you've spent what? You spent you spent 2 weeks creating a 3D model that was 200 that was $100. Fiverr comes along and takes
A
$20.
fifth of that. Yeah. Or a
20
fourth, technically, if it's 25%. Yeah.
they taking $25 from you, right? Like that's crazy. Like maybe us in America, we're like, oh, $100, it's not really a lot for us.
Yeah.
But people in these places where most of the users on Fiverr are from, really need that money. Like I used to sit down with a lot of Fiverr creators, and we was talking about things, and they was like, hey, can we talk on another platform? And I was like, why do they want to talk to me on another platform? They're like, hey, give me a Telegram, give me your Discord. We go start talking on Discord and Telegram, and what's the first thing they tell me? Hey man, can we do PayPal direct, or can we do like another payment system direct? Because Fiverr's taking a lot of my money. Like I really don't want to go through them. I know it's more riskier this way. I'm willing to do the work first, and you pay me after. But I really need my full pay, and I'm just like, damn, I understand that, and that's this was months ago, like before I even thought about like building works. Like it was just frustrating me because I understand from a creative perspective like where they're coming from. And it
Yeah.
got to the point where we was gonna launch just a standard NFT marketplace, but we was like, you know what, like let's like what's the point of trying to compete with OpenSea and Magic Eden? Like they already have those. Like it's a dying non-lucrative model. It's just it's not going to work trying to do that. So instead of trying to compete with the big guys who already captured the entire market, let's build something different. And I believe works is going to be that. We're going to be supporting Optimism, Avalanche, Polygon, Ethereum, Phantom, Arbitrum, Cardano, Cosmos, Binance, Chronos, Solana, and finally Hashgraph, Hedera. And we have it all baked in and built, and the platform is going to be out, latest June, latest the end of June, as early as the end of this month, it'll be out.
That's incredible. Two other cryptocurrencies I definitely would refer you to check out would be XRP and Algorand also. I think those are two very sustainable, reliable cryptocurrencies that could also possibly be integrated into this platform. And it really makes a lot of sense in regards to kind of like what I was saying earlier, and finding something that is already established in Web 2 and finding a way to bridge it to Web 3. Because what you're doing here and what you're trying to you're trying to take over Fiverr, that will be a huge milestone if it happens. And I truly see that your vision, it has a very high possibility of happening as long as you're able to get these people who are, developers, builders, and not necessarily just that, people who are just looking for work and looking to provide their work onto your platform. And they're quality people and they truly care about what they're providing. At the end of the day, if they provide their quality work, people are going to want to come back for that. And then people will refer people. And it's just going to be a snowball effect in regards to how many people you onboard to works. And so I think that's a really smart approach, and one, lowering the fees. Because you already explaining about how the guys from Fiverr that you've reached out to in the past wanting to talk to you on another platform so they could get PayPal transactions. That alone, PayPal still takes, it might not be as big, but they're still taking fees. And if you're able to compete with PayPal's fees, it's really going to change the game for where people go to outsource work. And I think Works has a lot of potential in regards to changing the game and making a new wave in regard to outsourcing work and receiving quality work. And so I really look forward to that coming. And within these next 1 to 2 months, I look forward to seeing the platform being out on markets and seeing people utilizing it.
Yeah, man, I appreciate the encouraging words, man. And I don't know how to give up, right? So, I know
I
you
can
were
tell.
saying it. I know you were saying if on your aspect, but I'm gonna say when, because
That's
Fiverr,
a great
you guys
approach.
you guys took enough money, you guys extracted enough liquidity from people, and you guys don't empower creators. Our platform is gonna empower creators. Like, we are gonna give creators spotlights. We are gonna have our Twitter shouting creators out. Fiverr doesn't do none of this stuff. Fiverr doesn't care. Like, once in a while they might retweet something here and there or shout something out, but on a regular basis they don't. Like, and that's the difference. Is the cadence. Is really, you know, like, knowing, like, okay, you got a platform that is very big, that is global, but like, how are you really helping people that is on a smaller scale? You're really not. Like, you're shining on the bigger people. Then you have a lot of limitations. They taking a lot of people's money. It's just it's ridiculous. And we're going to disrupt that industry, and we're doing something they're not doing. That's as simple. And that's the thing. It's a simple business model they have, which operates just slowly on fees and their middlemaning, but they're not using the blockchain. That's our competitive edge right there, on top of
Yeah.
all other things I named. So
Yeah.
it's exciting, and I can't wait to roll it out, and I can't wait to bring it to these blockchains that don't have something like this, because there's things similar to what we're building that we're seeing, because obviously we're doing research in the market. They just aren't doing it how we're going to do it, and
Sure.
executing it the way we plan on executing it. And there's a lot of the networks that I named earlier that doesn't have anything like this, that I know is needing something like this. Because you imagine if now a trusted built brand backed by a LLC, because we're deploying an additional LLC for Works as well, is now you get a trusted party that's in a space where you're already familiarized in, that is literally creating the opportunities that people want, but also not getting scammed. And that's one of the biggest things in Web3 that's happening right now, because it's quote unquote the crypto wild wild west, where people are getting scammed, fished left and right. And with this platform, it's going to mitigate a lot of those issues right there, because of how we're building it on the back end, and then how much research we're doing, and how like I know how a lot of people get away with stuff on Fiverr because of a chinks in their armor on how they have the delivery. I know a lot of people who've basically got delivered the end files and didn't have to pay nothing, disputed, and they basically wasted all that creator's time. With us, you're not going to be able to do
Yeah.
that.
It's bad. It's malpractice at the end of the day, but there's definitely, it seems as if you're a front runner in this space and integrating a platform like Fiverr, but better with cryptocurrencies. That's really going to change the game, and it's going to help onboard a lot of people within crypto as well as help people within this space. One thing that I thought about was, you sell an NFT project, or you're a builder, you're a creator, you're an influencer, you get payments in cryptocurrencies, and you want to outsource work. Say if you just went to a platform like Fiverr, you're going to have to change your cryptocurrency to a fiat currency. And that alone is a tax.
Yep,
From there,
fees.
you're going to have to then, go and find that person that you want to outsource the work to. If you're able to simply just use the crypto that you have to buy and outsource this work, it's going to save, one on taxes, but two on a lot of time and hassle that could be put forth into this. But simply, Echelon, you've really blown me away with everything that you're truly building in this space, and you continue to build out. I really see your vision, and I really see the potential behind all of it. And it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, just like exactly how you said it. I appreciate your time once again, and I'd like to close this off on any closing notes that you'd have for us. But once again, thank you for everything that you provided here today.
Yeah, thank you, thank you for the conversation, man. I like stuff like this more than AMAs, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
It's more of a conversation than just like an
truly, it's
interview.
genuine.
Yep, exactly. I really like that. I love the experience. I definitely want to have another one of these episodes with you in a few weeks, few months from now
We'll
when we
make it
have some
happen.
of those updates. So I appreciate that. I guess closing words is shout out to my team, shout out to my community, shout out to my supporters, and shout out to my haters. Like on a real level, I appreciate everyone. Like we ain't shit without I ain't shit without any of you guys. The Egoverse isn't shit without any of you guys, and I appreciate it. I learned a lot. It made me a better person, and hopefully I made other people a better person. Because I do want to impact people, even if it's on the littlest level. And just be on the lookout for the things we're doing, guys. Follow us at TheEgoVerse. We are coming to Hashgraph Hedera. We have a lot of big, ambitious plans, and over time things are just going to continuously get better and better and better, and more stuff is going to be getting released. We're working on a lot, so be on the lookout for that. And Works is dropping soon. Follow us on Twitter at W3RKSONDEMAND, and get ready. Fiverr, if you're listening, we are coming for your heads. But yeah, I want to close out on that.
Up next or up now? I think up now. Appreciate your time
Yeah.
once again, Echelon. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the All Kings podcast, and we will see you all next episode. Peace.
Hell yeah.